Well, hey everyone, and welcome back to this book study on the anxious generation. Way to go. You made it to chapter 10 of this book study. And I really do hope that this book has been worthwhile in your learning, your growth, your awareness of this topic. And yeah, I do know it is definitely like trying to drink from a fire hose of information and content, which is why the study guide was created. The study guide helps to sort of slow it down, help us process a bit of what we're reading and the impact that it's making in our lives. Now, chapter 10 of this book is going to give us a look into the motivations of the tech companies and government responses that would be beneficial in light of that. And man, honestly, after reading this chapter, it got me a bit fired up, right? I can't lie about that. It's the feeling of like, I always knew this, but then to have it confirmed and even to read quotes from Mark Zuckerberg that they knew exactly what they were doing when they created Facebook in the way they created Facebook is alarming. It's alarming. When there's a quote in chapter says, when platforms offer access to information or services for free, it's usually because the users are the product. Nothing is free in this world. And we do need to look at the price we are paying for allowing these tech companies such access into our lives. Page 230 says that the goal of these platforms is to get more users, get users to spend more time using the app, and then to get users to post and engage more content, which attracts other users to the platform. As I was reading this, I was thinking like, when else do we use that word users that often? And it hit me. Drugs. Social media is a drug that is frankly ruining the lives of thousands, if not millions, of kids around the world. And it's not just kids. I see the effects that this digital age is having in marriages, families, churches, communities, societies. And this is the entire reason where I just felt compelled to do a book study on this, right? In my opinion, social media for a 10 to 16-year-old is dangerous, verging, in my opinion, that it should be illegal. Now, I might be a minority on this, but it's how I feel. That as you mature, as you gain a frontal lobe, as you're able to moderate your life, then it might come down into used with moderation. But we have laws around drinking ages, laws around when you can drive, laws around when you can own a gun legally. We have laws around when you can have nicotine legally. Like, we have laws around this. We have laws around content in movies of when certain ages should be allowed to watch certain movies. So why are there no laws around access and use of social media platforms? Right? Like, I'm all about social connection. And honestly, these platforms are great for that. But I will also say they're no match for the real world and a developing young mind and what they need in the real world to develop correctly. Right? I'm also going to speak for us adults. We need the real world to flourish. Everyone could go for a boost in boundaries and shutting down screens to go on a walk, take your spouse on a date, hang out with some friends, take your child on an adventure, or your grandkids on an adventure. Me and my daughter, we love doing daddy-daughter dates all the time. And, I don't want her to feel like she's competing with my phone or trying to get my time, but create that time, right? Boundaries. Like if we pair the last chapter with this one, I do believe government will follow the needs and cares of society. All right. Again, I might be a minority on that one, but I do believe that if enough people care, then certain decisions have a better chance, at least, of being made. If more of society is pushing for regulations, government will be more inclined to act. And I do believe tech companies should be held accountable, right? But this also means for some of us, we might have to start making the big, bold move to start deleting some accounts to get the message across, right? This chapter gives practical things that government could do to help move the needle of change from loosening up on the legal ramifications for allowing kids more free play, encouraging more play in schools, designing public spaces with children in mind, and a hot topic question right now, something we're going to cover more extensively later. But that's the conversation of, should we go towards phone-free schools? Now, I will tip my hand on this and just say, after reading the research, talking with teachers, I believe that's a slam dunk. All right, now don't just take my word for it. As you read, think through it thoughtfully, do research, talk to people. But if anyone wants to sign a petition for any school, especially if it's my daughter's school, I'd sign that petition. But I think the reason for, some of you might be like, man, this is all a little extreme. Yeah, but sometimes when society gets too far out of balance one way, it does take extreme action in order to settle it back in to a balanced place. I will agree that I do think this digital age, the use of our cell phones, the constant way we're connected, the earbuds in our ears, all the social media sites, the way we shop, how things are on demand, how we stream, the amount of screen time, and all the ways we're plugged in, I think we're an out of balance society, and I think it's robbing us from what it truly means to be human. And what I'm going to define that is how we love God and love others in the love that's been given to us by Jesus. I don't think that if Jesus incarnated himself in this day and age, in this time, if he would have chosen the digital route in order to spread the good news of his gospel. I think it takes face-to-face. I think it takes real-world connections. And I do believe that each of us can look in our own lives and say, how can I make a difference in the way that these things have gone out of balance? That's my view. And that's what it's doing in me. And that was the point of these videos, right? So that's sort of the overview of chapter 10. And then in our next video, we'll be going through an overview of chapter 11. Well, thanks so much for looking at this video, and we'll see you next time.